I'm coming to you. Therapy. You see, I see in movies, and then in series, when people go to therapy, like they enter into this nice office. There is a nice couch. There's a nice couch there. And then they get there, they greet the clinician, they sit down and lay on their backs, and they start talking. They came with these heavy problems, and they start talking, and it's like they have an epiphany, and they just get out of there, and everything is all right. So, does it happen like that in real life? Like it's magic, like you have your one do ding ding ding, and then it's done. How does it happen?
Yeah. Thank you so much. When someone is coming for therapy, therapy is not a magic. It's something that is working. How it works. No matter it is a treatment, as other treatment, it is a treatment for psychological, physical, and emotions issues, as we said from the beginning. Someone is coming. The environment, how you welcome that person, how you ensure confidentiality, as we said, just where he's or she's going, it has to be a good environment. Just a feeling differently from where she or he is coming from. So, and after explaining informed consent and confidentiality and the therapy process, the person feel confident and feel that this is someone who I can open to, and just he started to talk. And the therapy is a treatment of talking, only talking.
So you just talk.
Just discharge everything that you have in your inside. Because we know we are judging people according to the behavior, what we are seeing external, but what you see externally, it comes from the inside. So if he found or she found who is ready to listen, because listening is the key in therapy.
Without judgment.
Without a judgment.
Right? Yeah. Because you can be listening and like, I'm listening, but I'm judging.
Yeah. There are really some ethics that you need to, showing empathy, accepting, no judgmental conversation, like that. So the person started to be open, because maybe he or she never talk about what he experienced.
You are not like magicians, Therapists, you are not magicians.
No.
There's a need to have like the participation of both the therapist and the person seeking help. You need to put in effort. Just like when you have a headache, you can go to a pharmacy, they give you paracetamol, but it's up to you to take it and take the tablet. You can have it, but if you don't take it, it's not going to work.
Of course,
Okay.
the consent and the commitment of the client to help him or her to heal.
There's some part of that too, I think, is also sometimes like maybe people who first time exploring therapy, it's like coming and looking for answers. Therapists don't have all the answers either, right? And I think most therapeutic relationships is I think it's creating an environment where you can help that client come to an answer that feels grounded for them. So it's not prescriptive, like, come to Mama Bridget and she's like, oh, do this and this and this and you'll be well in 2 months, So not only is it not like a magic pill, it's also not a like prescribing, like, and then your life is going to be awesome after this. There's a path to that, and there's also the piece of creating an environment where you help this person come to their answers, because one client's path to an answer could be different, for someone else who has a similar issue. So I don't think as therapists we really say this is what you need to do. It depends on the person. Maybe it's allowing a space where that person feels confident in taking those steps for themselves. And maybe that's also, I think, part of the therapeutic relationship.
So the treatment, as Mama Brigitte said, it is individualized, depending on what will work for the person seeking help.
Yeah, maybe what I can add is the button magic that we are using. It is to help the person to self-discover. To self-discover, because it's himself or herself who feel the pain. Sometimes we don't feel the pain of
we can
the
empathize,
person.
but
We empathize, but we can't. We can't feel. So help the person to self-discover, self-awareness, and also to know the root cause of that pain. Sometimes it can comes from childhood, like that, doesn't know the root cause of her pain. So if you help the person to understand, to self-discover, to go through the life journey, so maybe they started to, maybe the problem that I have now, the pain that I have now, maybe. Yes. Yeah.
And until you've identified the root cause, it is hard to come with a solution. Because what are you trying to respond to if you don't know the source of where it started?
I used to tell people in therapy, sometimes when you have a problem, you found anesthesia. Anesthesia is a drug, is alcohol, is something, but when you
get out of it, when you sober up,
the same pain comes back. Because it is the root cause is not really treated.
There are friends who have been, especially those in program management, they like to ask, but somehow do you measure that you have helped this person? Because they are used to measuring things that are either physical or if there are incomes, you can easily know that there has been progress.
Profitable or not,
And I think that's one of the challenges also, that some of these improvements, they are personal. The person is the one feeling it. And but we can also sometimes see them in the cost of not addressing these issues. The cost to the community, the cost to the family, and the cost to the nation at large. As well as the informal caregivers, the family members who give so much to take care of their family member. And it's not easy to quantify that, this is what the family member is foregoing in order to take care of this person. While it is easy maybe to look in records at the hospital and say, the cost of treating some during this time was this much. But what about those who do not get to the hospital where there are no records? I think we also need to bear in mind that there is support from clinicians, but also where the situation is severe, or there is support that is provided by family members. They play a very important
a big role. Because these are the people that we spend most of the time with. They're the people who affect us, our behaviors, our way of thinking, our ways of being. And with that, as we're talking about challenges, we said how therapy can be expensive. What if someone cannot afford therapy? What if they cannot come to a clinic to seek the help that they need? And then we talked about also the wellness, the dimensions of wellness. And we talked, Nadia, you talked about holistic. Very interesting word. So, for people who cannot afford therapy, what are some of the holistic approaches that a person can use, to take care of their well-being, to take care of their mental health? Because like Sam said, we do not need to wait until it's really dire to come and seek for help. We can prevent to reach to the breaking point. So what are some of the practices that maybe a person can incorporate in their daily lives just to make sure that they're having a certain kind of balance, a certain harmony.
I like that you brought back to the wellness wheel. I think that's going to be an answer to a lot of these things. I think one really dominant thing that comes to mind is connection. Is feeling a sense of connection in your community, in your environment, in your family. And while this is it's not a cure for everything, but I think it can serve as a pretty good preventative measure. I think a lot of times when folks come with concerns that maybe may not be chronic, down that spectrum where it's become a chronic issue, someone comes and they're like struggling with feeling, feeling connected in school or in their environment. I think sometimes just feeling a sense of connection to someone or a community can be therapeutic in nature. So it's not therapy, but it's therapeutic in nature. And the outcome sometimes I think can be quite similar, right? Depending on the issue that someone is coming with. So, I think paying attention to some of these pieces that are now in this, these wheels, whichever wheel you're looking at, whichever one is the eight dimensions or 6 or 7 or what have you. I think paying attention to some of those can act as some kind of a preventive measure that, doesn't go into like, okay, we're doing therapy, but that some of these things can in and of themselves have therapeutic aspects to them.
Oh, Brigitte, I see you have something to add.
I have as Nadia says, connection is support system. If someone have a support system, because as she was talking about holistic like that, also they need that support system in the community. But first of all, the person, him or herself, there are some coping mechanisms that you can develop yourself. Self-awareness. There's something that help you to cope with the problem. I used to tell people the problem we always have been there and they will
continue to be
there. The only
there.
thing that you need is to know how to manage them. The problem will still there, but you need to know how to manage them yourself. I think you are the one therapist of yourself. There are some coping skills that you can learn. You can learn from the specialist, even from that social connection that can help you really to care about yourself, so that you can feel good.
I love that reframing. I love like the self and
the self.
Like you have in yourself the ability to manage or practice managing some of these, while there's an external entity that helps, but that also I love that reframing. Sometimes
maybe for our next episode we can talk about those coping skills
because I see self-awareness, like it keeps on coming back as at the core of literally everything that you're talking about, because until you know yourself, how are you going to fix what is broken? It will be hard, and another person really cannot do it for you. So and if I can also just respond to my question, if I can respond to my question, the finding the balance, that's knowing of self. Different, certain aspects that may be important to you might not be as important as to another person, and sometimes we try maybe to copy paste and it affects us. Like when talking about the dimensions of the wellness, we've got the emotional, we've got the spiritual, the physical, the social, the professional. We've got all these aspects. So you may find for someone, let's say for instance, personally, it's the spiritual aspects of my life very important. There can be another person, they don't really, it is there, but it's not their priority. They might be just focusing on their career. So if I try to do as the other person, I'm gonna be suffering, because there will be a very important aspect of my life that I am not paying attention to. So just, coming back to that self-awareness and knowing what matters to you and where to put your energy. So yeah,
I think what I've noticed throughout all of the conversations is that element of there's no one size fits all approach to mental health and well-being, and we have to be very mindful of how we approach a certain problem depending on who comes to you when they're ready to come to you. So I actually want to ask Sam, being the CEO and co-founder of Solid Minds, could you give us just an overview of the different types of services that Solid Minds has to offer? And maybe Nadia and Brigitte can also add to that as well, since they're also doing more of the clinical side of things. But we want to know, what does Solid Minds offer, given that we have different challenges and different issues? And you mentioned earlier that there's also other networks to take into consideration. So do we work with families? Do we work just with individuals? So the floor is yours.
Thank you. At Solid Minds, we do provide a range of services. We work with individuals, those who come in to get direct support through talk therapy, as my colleague Brigitte mentioned. We do provide workplace assistance programs where we conduct workshops for employees in the workplace. But we also do a bit of research and work, a lot of work around working with academic institutions, especially institutions of higher learning. We are privileged to be partnering with the MasterCard Foundation to provide mental wellness, a number of mental wellness activities in different universities. And so we do work in that space as well. I think that those the three main ones, but we have also done some community awareness programs around mental health, especially during the World Mental Health Day celebrations and the period that follows.
Good. Thank you so much, Sam, for sharing the main types of services that we offer. I do want to add that I'm aware that we also offer not just one-on-one and with higher education individuals, but we do also expand and go to, let's say people want marital or couples and relationship counseling. I'm aware that Brigitte has done some of that work extensively, as well as family counseling, I believe so. And depending on the specific needs, it could be a specific situation or an event that has happened. So we do offer like grief counseling. We do offer conflict resolution, depending on the specific case. But within each service, all of the different types of support we give is very tailor-made and specific to the person or people or community. So I wanted to just add that.
And we also do provide meditation and
mindful
Attention, the TRE. Short
talk about that.
So apart from just doing the more one-on-one or two-on-one or three-on-one counseling, we do offer what's called meditative and relaxation services with one of our colleagues. She offers these specific sessions called TRE, which is short for tension, relaxation, exercises. I hope that's right. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I feel so bad if I got it incorrect. But essentially, she is tapping into an interesting approach of therapy through body meditation. You're kind of scanning and going through your body. It's a very non-common approach in terms of maybe our society to look at it, because looking at more of the meditation side, people might say, oh, but how is that different to yoga? But really, from my understanding, it's kind of combining the two worlds of yoga, not just for a physical like exercise, but actually the emotional part and using it as a so we do offer that as well, and we see a good turnout. We do it for groups, for specific organizations, but also for some of our partnerships with higher education.
stuff. You see, amazing stuff. Please come through, eh? Please come through. Nadia. Hi. Okay. So I'm going to try. How do I put this? Let's talk trends. Yes, let's talk trends. With how things are going, the world is evolving at a pace that sometimes is really alarming, right? What are the trends that you have seen in your practice that maybe when you're talking to people, if you could talk to people, you'd be like, I would like for you to particularly pay attention or focus on this or that. So like, what are those trends that we should be looking at as individuals, as communities, just to try and prevent? Yeah.
I hope I'm going to answer your question, but there's something very specific that comes to mind. We spoke on one side about like the need for stigma reduction, and that in many of our communities, there's still such a strong reaction when someone says, I have a mental health issue, concern, what have you. I think there's something else that's emerging that's really interesting for a different generation of people, where talking about mental health is actually not that much of a problem at all.
Yeah.
You know, you find folks on, and I'm not, super with it on social media, but the little that I have seen and do know, I think that there's a whole group of folks and a whole generation that is very comfortable saying, I need a mental health day, I need a break, and being very verbal and vocal about that, which I think is a good thing. I think that's probably the impact of like some stigma reduction, but the other side of that, that I also see are like folks like giving like mental health advice on social media, when which it's coming from I'm gonna assume it's coming from a good place, from a well-meaning place, but that sometimes these folks may not be like mental health providers or clinicians, and maybe some of this advice they're giving isn't vetted. So I think something that as we do the work of stigma reduction is also being intentional that we enter into those spaces and maybe, not like slap them on the wrist, join with these people who seem to have a passion for talking about mental health and also seem to be wanting to spearhead these conversations, maybe joining with these folks, along with clinicians, and providing information that is clinically sound, right? And not just an opinion, not just like an anecdotal experience. I think there's sort of a need to pay attention to that a little bit more, because someone who's in a vulnerable place could pull up a video, with someone sharing something, and they think, maybe they don't do any of the background, and they assume this person is a mental health clinician, and there's something there. I think it's worth paying attention to.
I have the same worry around all the information that is out there around mental health, because now you find someone who has read a book maybe on self-care, and all of a sudden they're talking as if they're a mental health professional. They're taking their own experience to give advice out there. It's kind of the same when, let's say, for psychology students, myself included, because it will reach sometimes in class, maybe because you have learned A, B, C, D, and then you try to self-diagnose, forgetting that before coming to a diagnosis, there's so many aspects that you need to consider. So I'm super worried about the multitude of information that is out there. Everyone was being vocal about it, and the reliability of that information, how it is being used or how it is being put there. So thank you for saying that we need to join in and try to limit.
I think there's an opportunity.
Try to limit, and making sure that at least on our end, what we can try to do is to give information that is accurate, and just always encouraging that what we discuss here, they are personal opinions. Yes, they can come from experts, but do not use it to self-treat or to self-diagnose. If you need that, please come in and have your session, and make sure that what you're gonna have, it is for you, and not create, because you can end up creating more problems for yourself. Yeah. And I think we are heading toward the end. You have really given us a lot of insights. And before we conclude, I'm just gonna ask you one. What can be a takeaway for our viewers, for anyone who will stumble on this video? What can be one takeaway when they hear about mental health, wellness? What is it that you'd like for them to keep in mind and remember every now and then? Yeah. Gentle ladies first.
Gentle ladies first.
Maybe what I can say, not feeling good, it's okay. Not feeling good, it's okay. Everybody can feel good or bad, because emotional can change. You can feel good now and feel bad tomorrow. So it's okay. If it persists, just seek help to the professionals.
Thank you.
Now I'll kind of roll into that too, because I really like what you said there. And I think it's okay, and it's about the journey, not the destination.
Oh yes.
Like you said, okay, like today you can feel good and then next week you don't feel good, right? Any one of us here, I think so. It's about being attuned to what you need at the time. That, along this road of life that we each walk, that there will be moments when you're doing really, really well. But even in those moments, I think it's helpful to be attuned to what you need in terms of mental health. And when you're doing really, really bad, it's also important to be attuned to what you need, right? So there's no point at which you arrive at this, magical destination where you never need to consider your mental health ever again. I think all of us sitting here in this room, at some point along our journey, Sam shared a little bit about his journey. I'm sure if we were to have more time, we could each share about moments in our lives where we had to stop and pause and say, I need to pay attention to this. So it's really not, I think, for those seeking help, for those worried that, oh my gosh, is this something I'm going to be labeled with forever? It's life, Sometimes you're in a great place, sometimes you're not. Hopefully, when you're in not a great place, you're equipped to be able to get through that and realize there's something else that, on the other side. So I think the journey, not the destination, is what I would,
Yeah, and if you are going through an emotional, psychological challenge, asking for help is a sign of strength. It's not a weakness.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How about you? Do you have any takeaways you want to give to the public?
I do. I've forgotten it. But I do. I was going to say, do not wait until it has gotten worse to start paying attention to your mental health. The same way that we wake up and say, I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to get a membership in a gym. I'm going to try and eat healthy. I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to adopt a skincare routine so that I can be physically well. Let's try and do that for our mental health. Let's practice self-care. Let's do the little things, the little simple things, but have a longer and a bigger impact on our mental health. Let's be intentional and very loud on prevention rather than treatment. Yeah. What's up? How about you?
It's so hard because everyone has taken everything I wanted to say. So I'm like,
just combine it all.
But I do have to say, from my own personal experience of seeking help and also seeing all of the work that our colleagues have done in different areas, I would say my big takeaway for our general public same thing that Nadia was going to say. But it's the same. It's in the same. It's in the same line as both Nadia and Bridget shared, where I like this view of when you break a plate or like something that's very fragile, and you're trying to put it together. That you see the molding and all the parts that were put back in place, and it's not bad to feel that way. But essentially, what I mean by that imagery is, we all have those moments where we might feel extremely low, and we've all had some struggle and some issue. And although we are here giving our views and our advice, we've all been in the same boat, I could say. And I think we all have our broken plates that we've tried to mend and build together. And just because we might be professionals or we work in a clinic doesn't necessarily mean that we have it all figured out.
Absolutely.
So we're all in this together.
Yeah.
If you're just seeing this for the first time, hearing Solid Minds for the first time, or if you're actually a therapist or a senior clinician, for example, we all need that help and we all need that support. So I hope that also encourages people to know that we also have that. They say therapists need therapists.
Exactly.
So it's just showing that it's something that is actually a necessity and a need for everybody, not just for those who don't know much about it.
Like you're not alone on this journey. We are together, and until you talk about it, you wouldn't know if another person is going through it. It brings me to we are concluding, but let me just say this. It brings me to I came across a TikTok video, and someone was actually advocating around mental health, and what he said is, you are not special, but not in a way that you think. You are not special in a sense that whatever you are going through, however difficult it is, there's another person who's going through it. There is someone who has gone through it and has overcome. There's another person who's going to go through it. Until you speak up and you know you will not get the help, there is someone out there who has got a solution to the problem that you're facing right now. But if you do not say that you're having this problem, how are you going to get the solution? So yes, let's speak up. Scary stuff, eh? Yes, very scary. But let's speak up. So let's live out our potential. Actually, exactly.
I like that plug.
Yes, let's live out our potential. Just like our podcast.
That's right.
Until you do that, I don't know, but I think that's the aim,
That is the
right?
aim.
So let's put in the work. Let's do what needs to be done and making sure that we are getting the results. So thank you so much. Once again, let's do this again. We should do this every now and then. It's very nice,
And thank you for giving us your time. And your expertise,
An absolute pleasure.
your thoughts. We can't wait to have you again.
Yes. And for our viewers, like, subscribe, share, follow us on the links that are going to be there on the video, on our socials, and just keep up to date. And more episodes are coming, and we're gonna have fun together.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right.